Have you ever tried to borrow a kayak from a total stranger? If you're a normal person, probably not. But I bet you know somebody who has a kayak sitting in their garage unused most of the year. I bet you also know somebody who was traveling recently who wanted to use a kayak or golf clubs or a tent or any other kind of outdoor gear and just didn't know how they could access it. So you can see we have these two groups, the gear havers and the gear needers. And the question is, how do we bring those two together? The answer is Pod. Pod is a new hybrid between gear-sharing peer-to-peer networks and regular storage units like people are already using today. By having a physical location, Pod solves a lot of problems that other gear-sharing networks couldn't in the past. First of all, it allows people to store their gear as they normally would, but lets them collect a little bit of extra income over the top. This takes away some of the inconvenience that other peer-to-peer gear-sharing networks couldn't handle because it takes away the need to arrange constant meetups between renters and rentees. Our locations will be staffed 24 hours a day by qualified employees that can help broker these rentals so rentees can come in at their convenience and renters can continue their rental business even when they're out of town or even out of the country. Also, because we're a storage business and a gear sharing business, we can survive some of the ebbs and flows in income that happen because of the seasonal variation in travel. While we'd all like to think that we'll go out camping every single weekend, the reality is most of us don't have the time or money to do that. So a lot of times, other gear sharing networks found that adventure travelers only used their services 1 to 2 times a year, and when they did, it was almost exclusively on the weekends. This provides a lot of gaps in income, especially in places where seasonal variation is high, and other gear sharing networks couldn't survive. Because we have a storage unit business running in the background, we'll be able to survive these ebbs and flows and provide a constant platform for rentals even when gear sharing is low. An investment in Pod is a great idea. The sharing economy is huge and the outdoor community has been waiting for their piece of it to come in. So far, gear sharing networks haven't made it, but Pod solves the problems that those other sharing networks failed to address. Invest in Pod, invest in the outdoors, invest in adventure.
Pod, share the adventure.